What's up, everybody? So sorry, I want to first apologize for the late start, having some technical issues. It's storming here where I live, but I think everything's going back up. I think we got power internet, so I do apologize again for the delay. But today we are getting started. Very excited, guys. I also want to start off with an update on the 6.0 Powerstroke because, of course, that is our go-to truck. I just saw the announcement go out that people are that the live stream's going right now. So I hope people start joining in here. Just quick checking one thing. Tonight's major topic is going to be a 6.0 Powerstroke versus the 6.7 Powerstroke. So I think this will be a fun topic, especially if you guys get involved. I do enjoy as you guys get in the comment. Big topic between the two. I think these are two of the best Ford Powerstroke diesels. I think they're the two to really talk about if you're out there looking for a good performing truck that's still going to do a lot of work. And we'll talk about the honorable mentions of the old 7 Tree and the 6.4 Powerstroke. Terry, what's up, man? How are you doing? Good to have you here. I also want to start with one major update. The 6.0 Powerstroke is all but back. We have the boost issue figured out. We're dealing with one final issue with my reverse lights, and then the truck should be back. So Greg is working on that quickly, but the truck, I took it for a test drive with Greg. I didn't drive, but it was a complete monster. You guys are going to be so happy when it comes back. I'm very excited that content that's going to be made. So I'm doing good, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a long day, but going to try to get this in, and hopefully there's enough people to kind of come hang out. We got 9 right now, 5 likes. Let's get those likes up, guys. So I want to talk about these two trucks kind of from a couple different perspectives, and I think we can get into some deep stuff here. It's a bigger topic than I think a lot of people give it credit for. Wookie, thank you, man. I'm going to go with TF. That's easier for me. So the 6.0 Powerstroke guy, like I own both of these trucks. We are going to kind of exclude the 11 through 14s because I don't think the trucks were quite ironed out in the 6.7 category in those years. They were still great trucks, don't get me wrong. But I think 15 and newer is really where they shined, and I am very partial 15, 16 because those are the two trucks I've owned. I do like the Illumiduties as well, though, but 15 and newer for the old 6.7. Any year 6-liter is going to be included. Major updates did happen in 05 as far as suspension-wise, and I've really grown to love the newer style suspension. It's one of the things I dread about getting my 6-liter back is, am I going to like the older style suspension that it has on there? I'm very excited for that. Eric, nice, excellent. If I'm a big fan of people that one day I would like to get an 11 through 14 and retrofit everything. I think that'd be a cool project one day. They're just so expensive, and I have enough projects. I want to buy a house, so I can't buy a million trucks. Although I would probably like to buy at least 10. So, but yeah, I am worried when I get my 6-liter back how much I'm going to hate the leaf spring front suspension. I was just checking the stance out. I do love the stance on that truck. It desperately needs new cab mounts, though. It's bad. So let's start with performance because I think that's kind of the big conversation everybody wants to have is how do these trucks perform and what can you expect? Or in the performance department. I do plan to mess with tuning and mods on the 6.7, all EPA compliant, because I think that's, did you guys see that major lightning in the window there? So I do plan to mess with tuning. I've had a rough start to it on my 6.7, so I'm not quite, I need to do some research and learn some things about it. I tried to do an air filter, that through a check engine light. I tried to do EPA compliant tow tune, and that messed up on my 6.7 as well through a different check engine light and got terrible fuel economy and regen. So I just have some research to do. So we're talking factory 6.7 because there's a lot of people that still don't want to mod them. And I understand a lot of that stuff's very expensive. The EPA is really coming down on the aftermarket. in many, many ways. So I get that. But on the 6 liter, you're still kind of free to mod stuff. I think that makes them fun, especially in the performance department. I will say this. You're still not going to quite be able to get the same torque. There's Izzy. Hey, Pop. I don't know what she's messing with back here. She's coming in on this side, guys, making her live stream appearance. Right, Pop? I do love that she always comes to most of the time. I had a live stream she didn't, and you guys asked why. I love that. Go, Pop. Yeah. Come over here. So, anyway, guys, I think she really adds something special to the live stream. But the 6 liter, you can really still modify them. It's easy to do an exhaust, an intake, turbos, and there's still plenty of tuning options. Obviously, we've lost a lot of support for the delete stuff, and that's okay because honestly, deleting a 6 liter isn't bringing you power. It's not really changing a whole lot. It's not going to bring you better. Excuse me. It's not going to bring you better miles per gallon. So it's not really a big deal. I hate that it's on there, and I wish I still could, but you can't. So, and there's a fix for all the 6 liter issues. So, look, we're not going to talk about reliability. These trucks can be equally as reliable, and you can do it with a 6 liter a lot cheaper. Right, Izzy? Hmm? Good girl. So, you have a 2003 511 selling my house next, so I'm going to get a 15 dually. Are you selling your house for the dually, or are you selling your house to buy another house? Because I don't know, Eric, that selling your house to buy the dually, I don't know if that's the best financial advice I could support. And I think my dog agrees. But I do really desperately want a dually one day. The next tow build after the 6.7 is going to be a dually. I want a 450. Like, I don't want to get a 350. I want the big thing. Okay. Eric, I'm sorry. Just wanted to make sure you were going to still have a home and you weren't living in the dually. So, Eric, that brings me to a good question. Are you looking at getting a 350 dually or a 450 dually? Dually. Finally made it to a lot. Robert, good to have you, man. Thanks for joining us. Always appreciate you guys joining in. And I hope it's Mia gets in here too. He's always fun in the live streams. So, but that's a good question. So, are you getting the 350 dually or the 450 dually? I don't need the four. Nobody needs the 450 dually, but they're awesome. I do love the 350 dually comes with 373 excuse me, gears. I love when my dog hangs out with me doing this. But they are awesome. Glad you'd upgrade to 6.0 Blast Tunes was not cheap. No, Terry, what all is done to your 6.0 Powerstroke? Like, what are your upgrades? What's your overall build? And what's your favorite single upgrade that you did to yours? Depending on build, I always have different things I really like about everything I've ever messed with on trucks. For instance, on tow builds, my favorite thing is airbags. It's dumb. It's relatively inexpensive. Favorite modification is airbags. On my 6-liter, that's hard. I'm not sure what would be my favorite modification on my 6.0 Powerstroke, because there's a lot of them. First and foremost, I will say injectors were a lot of fun. It'd probably be between injectors and turbos, because I do really love them. Even though, like, I know a lot of the airflow mods I've done between exhaust manifolds, the O-Dog intake manifold. I don't know if I could pick just one. But overall, I would say, well, even though everything comes together to make a really great truck, I'd have to say that generally speaking, it's between injectors and turbos on a 6-liter because they just make such a big difference. On a 6.7, I don't think injectors would make me as happy because it's not as, like, stock injectors. I'm pretty certain on a 15 and newer 6.7 can get you like 600 horsepower, I believe. Don't quote me exactly, but it's pretty far up there on a stock injector. And I'm not sure if you run out of injector or run out of turbo in that segment, but it is a lot of fun on the 6 liter when you do those. Happening with your equipment buy shop getting a full dude, Robert, when you get that back, you got to send me pictures on Instagram. That's killer. It is one of my goals one day to repaint the 6 liter. Um, excuse me. I would ideally love to learn to paint and do it myself. um, but I want to paint it like that pearl white they use with the fleck in it. I think that is such a cool color. And I really, really would love to do that one day. So, uh, but that's awesome. I'm jealous. What color are you going with, Robert? A fresh turbo is a great feeling. There's just something when you put a new turbo on a truck, you upload your new tune, and you take it for a rip, and it's just a complete monster. It's so much fun. That is one of my favorite feelings. I did that first. I've put a few turbos for review and stuff over the years, but I will say then when you throw a bigger set of injectors that actually push that turbo, that is a lot of fun too. 04 King Ranch. So wait, so your 05's in the shop, and then you bought an 04 King Ranch that's stock to use in the meantime. The airs. So I've never been a fan of the beige, but the ones that have the black trim do look killer. The all beige ones I'm not a fan of. You throw that black trim and it completely transforms the look of those trucks, in my opinion. It's a whole other game, I think, as far as that goes. Once you put that on, and especially when people like carry it out into the grill, the bumpers, the headlights, taillights, and they have that whole black theme, that is a lot of fun. It's a nice looking truck. It looks aggressive, but still super clean at the same time. Your What color is your King Ranch? You needed new cab mounts. Did the SMB? Yeah, TF. I'm definitely gonna be going with the SNB when I do it. I just need to. I need to financially and potentially emotionally recover from the bill that's coming my way for the 6 liter, because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a little bit, but it will it will all work out in the end. I am very excited. But SNB cab mounts are definitely on the list to do once I get there. So that'll be something I do in the very near, well, I shouldn't say very near future, because I keep saying very near future on like 6 different things, and well, I can't afford that. So we will see. We're going to keep hoping that YouTube keeps getting more and more successful for me, so I can afford to keep saying in the near future and mean it on all my projects. But S&B or factory, I think, are the only real options. I'm not a fan. I've heard how the other style bushings ride, and I hear they're bad. Your O5 is beige with all black trim and black offset wheels. I bet that looks sharp, man. I've become a huge fan of black wheels, and on my many of you probably know I have the fuel wheels on my, I think it's the fuel sledge wheels on my '04 20 by 10s, and I plan to get Tremor wheels for my 16 eventually. The emerald green, I feel like that was a rare King Ranch color, but a good one. The emerald green with the beige around the bottom is a good looking truck. I've seen a lot of. I shouldn't say I've seen a lot of. I've seen a lot of the green, but I like it with the two tone. Certain colors just look better two tone. My dad's 7.3 is that dark blue. It's an '01. It's a dark blue with a silver trim. I think that looks really sharp. I think white looks good with trim. It was, or estate green. Was there two different ones? I didn't realize. But the big takeaway, all in all, is Sorry, one of my good friends from work sent me something funny. I just wanted to see what it was. Um, but back to the topic at hand, though. Although I love the truck, guys, the more you comment, the more I live in the comments, and I love my personal preference is to stay in the comments during live streams. The more questions I'm asked, the more I hear about your trucks. Like that is my preference. The video topic itself is really just to kind of fill dead space, so I'm not staring. This is my direction to stare at the comment section over here. So please stay in there. When you guys aren't, I just kind of look like a goofball. So let's see here. King Ranch Green, two-tone with flatbed looks really aggressive. I am not the biggest flatbed fan. I've seen 3 6-liter flatbeds that I'm like, that's freaking awesome, and I would love that truck. One is the owner of the shop that my truck's at, flatbedded. He has a flatbed on his early 04. He has an early 04 truck similar to mine, and that thing is a monster. So some flatbeds I do like. They're growing on me in some ways. I don't know that I'd ever put one on, but the ones that are done right look killer. Kill Devil Diesel. Shout out to those guys. Big fan of them. O-ringed heads, lifters, updated push rods, bulletproof water pump. I'm assuming water pump and EGR cooler. Yeah, replaced oil cooler then. Turbo Time USA turbo. Which Turbo Time USA turbo are you running, ma'am? Updated standpipe down. The turbo is my favorite. I will say, man, so the 1 point, excellent pick, man. A lot of people want to run. So I go back and forth with Turbo Time on this, and I will say this. Shout out to those guys. Huge supporter of the channel. 6 Obros for a 5% off your performance charger. I've had very few people that didn't like it. Most people loved it. I think I've had like one person that was genuinely upset with me. But most people are loving those turbos. 6 Obros, 5% off. It is an affiliate code, fair warning, but it won't cost you any extra. Just get your 5% discount. But when I was going for a ride, so I have the GXR7, which is great turbo. Probably not gonna. It will probably be okay for towing, but probably not the best. The 1.5 is gonna light so fast. It's gonna be enjoyable to daily drive. You're gonna have such little lag. Like Terry, how fast is that turbo for lighting? I bet you have very little lag. It's a light compressor wheel. Like they did such a nice job with that turbo from everything I've seen. I will be testing it in the future. And I am okay with having the GXR7 turbo, mainly because I don't have to tow anymore. So I don't have to worry about how fast it spools. It does spool really fast, but it's on a race tune right now. Very little lag. Top end is awesome. Yeah, that 10-blade exhaust wheel is phenomenal for just up top. And since the compressor wheel is still so small, it's got very little lag. That is if you're sticking with stock injectors, I don't really feel you should ever go more than a stage 1.5. That is like the perfect upgrade for that truck. And guys, by the way, we have 13 people in here and only 9 likes. So if we can get at least 2 more likes, guys, get that in there. Eric, I'm really sorry to hear about your 03. That sucks. What do you do with your truck? Are you looking to upgrade your turbo? I'd be happy to help steer you in the right direction and get you a discount. Or are you looking to go back to factory? Because I understand that not modding to this extent isn't for everybody, and I do respect that completely. But there's definitely some really good performance to be had by going to the aftermarket turbos for some people. Not everybody likes it, but hands down, my favorite. All right, quick, just logging into some other sites so just because sometimes I tend to give you guys links from things, so I'm just kind of getting stuff up in the background as we continue to work. You ought to know. Oh, the 10 millimeter bolts are a bugger. I'm right there. Burns clean. Would there be a noticeable difference between turbos you're talking about and a Power Max? So Robert, yes. Uh, so the Power Max about I think it was 4 years ago, did update. So there was like they didn't really talk about it, but none of the compressor wheels from the old um, Power Max was working after they did this. I don't know if anybody made a new wheel or not. I know some companies really try harder than others to make the new to like stay up to date on things. I will say this, please nobody, and I say this, please nobody buy any Sinister diesel turbos. I like the stuff I've seen and I've heard from other people. This is not. Please just don't. Just don't. Um, but overall, I'm just trying to see if there's a Power Max wheel. I think it looks like KC Turbo might have one. Oh, nope, I lied. This only fits Power Max built before 2018. Um, yeah, it does not appear that there's another option. That's a shame, because I do think that's a nice update to it. But so what would be the difference? So the Power Max Turbo is an overall good turbo. You get OEM Garrett quality, but you're also getting that with a lot of these pre-builts. KC Turbo does. I have no affiliation with KC Turbo. I would love to work with them in the future as a reviewer of products. I would love to review some of their products. I think that would be fun, and I'd give it an honest shakedown. But I'm not buying one personally. But anyway, going back, and Turbo Time USA, both are using OEM platforms to build their turbos on. Obviously, compressor covers they mess with on both sides, and the wheels and turbine shafts are all them. So who knows what like I've talked to them about, at least Turbo Time about it. I don't remember where they're getting stuff from, and I imagine to a degree it changes, but they're both good, reputable companies. And the only reason I bring them up is I like to kind of talk about other companies that I'm not affiliated with when I'm essentially advertising for mine, because I want you guys to have options. While yes, I do make money doing this, I'm not trying to just exclusively make money. I need to provide good information and let you guys know there are more than one options, even if it means you're buying from a company that I'm not affiliated with. So yeah, if you were to go, I'm going to bring up these two companies because I want to talk about specific product lines in there. So like I can give you like this turbo would be good. So I am going to bring up KC Turbo and Turbo Time USA over here just so I can really like talk about what's happening, because I want to give you an exact thing. I already know the Turbo Time one, and that would be the Type S. I believe it's the Type S. Give me the measurement. 64 millimeter. There we go. So from Turbo Time USA, I would highly recommend it. Like this is what would compete with the Power Max. So it would be the Stage 2 Type S11. That's an 11 blade compressor wheel in there. And on the KC side of things, oh, they've changed things up. So they have they brought back the S2R. What? That is, well, that's interesting. This is a turbo I used to actually like really, really, really want. It's a 64 by 88 mm single plane wheel, 94. They have their redesigned Jetfire. That's cool. I need to get away from this because this isn't what we should be talking about. All right, the KC Stage 2 Jetfire. They also have a KC Stage 2 Budget, which is probably all about the same. They are different, but it's still a really good turbo. So assuming it's the same, there's a 64 millimeter compressor wheel. So these two turbos, so you have KC has two reasonable offerings, and then they have the ball bearing one. It's interesting. I didn't realize they did that, and I'm gonna have to look into it. Not that I'm buying it, but I probably would, I'm interested in it. It's expensive. I will say that. Let me get back to this page. The, ball bearing turbo is $2,500, but it's the only one on the market. That's kinda wild. And basically, I believe it's their KC Stage 2, Jetfire with a ball bearing center section. So very interesting stuff. Props to KC for innovating. And then they have their budget. So there's three turbos that would compete with the Power Max. I do want to say this. If you have a Power Max and you're enjoying it, I don't know that I'd have a hard time shelling out additional money to replace it. Now, if you could get, well, I don't even know what they go for anymore, to be honest, now that I think about it. Because like the S the stage 2 type S11 is a $1,500 turbo. The Power Max is 1385. Wow, 1385? I'm trying to see what the Power Max are. KC's selling them for 1558. Wow, that is wild to me. Anyway, so you're talking about a turbo that is basically as much as these. If you were buying a turbo, I would say the extra $100 in some instances, or even a savings in others, is worth it for a better quality turbo. It will be better, without a doubt. You'll get faster spool up, better top end, because the way the compressor wheels are designed, they're able to pull more air in. They have more surface area, as opposed to like the Garrett Power Max has a pretty thick center hub. It's just not going to do as nice of a job. We are getting to a territory where you're splitting hairs. Some people, I haven't heard as many complaints about the Power Max. Yeah, they used to be like a $1,200 turbo. Like, that's wild to me. But anyway, if you were buying a new turbo, absolutely the Power Max does not get my vote. Back when it was $1,200, it had my vote as far as best bang for buck. You want a good turbo that's going to treat you right and be reliable. $1,200 gets you a great turbo, but those days are gone because apparently it's $1,400 now. And this isn't a product I try to skimp on from other people. There's a lot of that. I just think it's a bad idea. Kyle and Matt, I will get into your guys' questions, just so you know. I just want to finish this. So Robert, I do think you would notice a difference. I don't know that it would be earth-shattering or enough that you would love it. I've never compared the two, and maybe that's something I can attempt to do in the future. I don't know. A lot of that has to do with Turbo Time and essentially how much they want to support that, because it would probably be a funded project from them. But I will say this: the Power Max is still a good turbo. The other turbos are better. I do feel you'd probably see a little less lag. Some of those turbos are slightly larger at 64 millimeters compared to 36.5, but they're not necessarily like massively heavier wheels. They're optimized and a little better designed. So I do think they're better, but I don't think it's worth getting out of a Power Max if the Power Max is running right. The older styles, some people had issues with them not running right. A lot of surging, a lot of weird driving characteristics. So I hope that helps. Like, I wouldn't up and sell it. Like, if you had someone that was willing to spend $1,000, even then, I think I have a hard time justifying upgrading the turbo at if it was $500. I'm not sure what I'd want to sell it for to be able to justify it. Now, if it dies, and hopefully that doesn't happen, then yes. Or if you're saying, hey, I'm willing to sell this because I'm looking for the best at this point, then yeah, definitely get it. Let's see here. Eric, which one of the 10 millimeter bolts can't you get off? Some of them can be a bear. Just bought an 06 or 6.003 70,000. Wow, an 03 6 liter with 72,000 miles. So I guess we can, Kyle, I'm going to answer the next question because I think it's probably a little easier, and then we're going to get into bulletproofing the 60 and what that very convoluted term has started to mean in here. So, thinking about buying your first diesel, like the body of the 6.4, but the 6.0, I believe would be more affordable. Not just truck, but upgrades. Matt, so the 6.4 is a great truck. However, they can have some problems. I would highly recommend the 6.0 over it. The 6.0 is a great first truck. Understand they can blow heads. That is a thing. And it's relatively common, especially if you start turning up the performance. I did run a 40 horsepower tow tune for like 6 years without a hiccup. And eventually I did crack a cylinder head, but my 40 horsepower tow tune didn't do that. 6 liter heads, just they can crack. It's not terribly uncommon. Ninja, what's up, man? How are you doing? But I do think the 6.0 would be a better pick for you from a first diesel, if it's between those two, in my opinion. Now, you bought what's a better bulletproofing kit? So that's a little bit of a tough question, but what I would say is I started recently working with a company, DSD Parts, I believe is DSD Parts. Yeah, there they are. I'm going to put a link to them. Clicked off the screen. And this is who I would go to as far as talking about this and getting parts, because they are starting to offer discounts for my subscribers. You have to let them know, and you do have to call them on the phone. But the term bulletproofing is actually in reference to Ninja. Yes, I just suck at texting back, and I've been meaning to, and I will very soon. But yes, I did get that. And I actually meant to text you back like on 5 separate occasions that day. I just forgot because I'm bad at texting. But I did get it. Thank you. And we'll definitely be talking soon about that. But yeah, so the bulletproofing kit is actually in reference to Bulletproof Diesel and their parts. I actually have heard, I've never seen it, but I heard Bulletproof Diesel gets a little sensitive when people say bulletproofing, it's just ARP head studs. Now, I will say this. Just studding your truck does not mean you have a bulletproof truck. That is not the case. But turning around and I also don't think just throwing bulletproof diesel parts on means you have a bulletproof truck either, for that matter. Factory water pumps are super reliable on the 6 liter, and the plastic impeller doesn't destroy your front cover if they fail. You pull the old one out, put a new one in, you're good to go. The bulletproof diesel one looks really nice, seems to be pretty nice. I've seen them fail, like any other water cooler, except when they fail, they're metal, and a lot of times they take out the front cover. So I'm not a big fan of that product. I would buy their EGR cooler. I think they're the best EGR coolers on the market right now. There's some other upgraded ones, but in my opinion, bulletproof diesel is by far the best one to get. I believe that. Which brings me to their oil cooler. I think their oil cooler works well, but I also think it basically just says, hey, you don't have to maintain your cooling system on your truck. I will personally not put one on a truck. Not that I think it doesn't work. I just think I don't necessarily like the way they look. I think they were cool before we understood how to maintain these trucks. And now I kind of think they're a little arbitrary personally. All their parts they're using very high quality from what I've seen on the oil cooler sides. They seem super nice. The hose line they're using, very nice. Josh is a big fan of their relocation kit. I'm not. I don't think it looks super like clean. Like, it's nice stuff, but I just don't like the way it looks in the engine bay. But some people love it, and it does make changing an oil cooler 20-minute, 30-minute job. But so yeah, bulletproof diesel meant using their oil cooler and their EGR cooler. They still reference studs. Essentially, that is a bulletproof 6.0 Powerstroke. In my opinion, not as great as everyone has made it out to be. I firmly believe you need O-ringed heads and ARP studs for them to be super reliable. I'm a huge advocate of Kill Devil Diesel. They have also shown me a ton of support on the channel, so I am biased. But I don't make anything for marketing for them yet. If anybody has an in at Kill Devil, let them know they should pay me. But they're great guys over there. I love them. They do get busy, so sometimes getting a hold of them when they're that swamped can be tough. But generally speaking, I've never had a major issue getting to them. So, in my opinion, now that we've talked about what bulletproof diesel means to other people, we're going to talk about what it means to me. And that would be a Kill Devil Diesel set of cylinder heads. Whether that be their Icon series, if you're looking for better airflow and they do flow better, or their Iron series, or like their standard heads, head cast, both are excellent. Both are going to be really high quality and very reliable. I would recommend either of them, personally speaking. And technically, I've run both. So that's a must. I keep the oil cooler in the factory location. I would buy the bulletproof diesel EGR cooler. If you're going to stay under 550 horsepower and you're not abusing your truck, meaning you're not racing, you're not going to dyno events and all that nonsense, as much fun as it is nonsense, then standard ARP studs are fine. If you're going to be under 550 but you're going to race, you're going to be beating up on it here and there, you're going to be going to dyno events, then get the custom-made studs, in my opinion. And anything over 550 should have a set of Kill Devil heads and the custom-aged studs from ARP, in my opinion. That is what a bulletproof 6-liter means to me. It's a lot more factory than people think. I love my modifications, but the trucks themselves don't need to change that much. Make sure your batteries and alternator are good. Keep your FICM happy. If your FICM fails, I'd send it out to Ed at ficmrepair.com. I haven't had to do that yet, but eventually I will be. Yeah, and then just drive your truck because they're awesome. Now, I do like upgrades on top of that, but as far as bulletproofing is meant to be a reliability thing. It's not meant to be a go fast or make big horsepower thing. It's meant to be a use your truck for what it was meant for, reliability. And it just so happens it kind of carries over into some other aspects as well. So Kyle, I would probably go use the link I sent, let them know I sent you, see if they can get you some of those parts. You can also reach out to Kill Devil Diesel, let them know I sent you. I don't have any like real agreement with them, but they are normally good if they have letting you know when a sale is coming up. If you're going through a shop, then you got to kind of rely on those guys to get the stuff. I will say one day I want to have somebody basically drop a truck off with me and the shop I'm working with. DSD has a shop, and let us basically buy the parts and all the labor free. Like the labor would be free. It would be him and me filming and doing it in cab and stud a truck. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Well, that's a lie. It would suck, but it would be a great video to make and show people how to do it themselves. And then it would be cool to say I did a head stud job because I've never done one myself. Yeah. Oh, the 6-liter has a ton of aftermarket stuff. I do have an EGT gauge on my 6-liter. It sits in the driver's side exhaust manifold, right where it goes up. I have BD exhaust manifolds. They have a pre-done EGT port there. So it goes up. I've considered adding one on the passenger side just because it could use it. And it would be cool to see each bank from an exhaust standpoint or exhaust temp standpoint. Then there's I've runs into an Edge Insight CTS2. I do plan to get a CTS3, and I'm not sure which truck will get which one. But I will have both just because I have two trucks. So Um, but yeah, I would definitely run an exhaust probe in my 6 liter. Definitely. Uh, Eric, the EGR cooler is one of the weakest links. It's kind of a perfect storm that hit the 6 liter. Um, Less head studs made the heads more prone to lifting. EGR cooler and oil cooler are very, very intertwined, and people used to not realize that. So they'd replace a leaking EGR cooler, not realizing the oil cooler was failing, and that's the reason it wasn't getting coolant and failed in the first place. They'd replace an EGR cooler. A month later, their oil cooler burst, and they're doing that. Oh, and your EGR cooler cracked again. So that's some of the hate that the 6 liter got. And if it was real bad and you didn't realize it, or they didn't catch the leaking EGR cooler, then you were more prone to blow heads because it's pushing coolant into your cylinders. Yep, Ford parts carrying 2-year warranty is a big, big plus. I would not recommend buying any of the aftermarket oil coolers for 6 liters personally. Oh yeah, and I think the Kill Devil heads are actually pretty like decent value. I think they used to only be like $2,300 for a brand new set of heads, fully loaded. Um, they were pretty good value. I'm quick looking them up now to see if like they're still not DK engines. I don't know why they always show up all the time. It's kind of annoying. So after all of COVID, they've only gone up $100. That's not bad. $2,400 for the O-ring heads. I'm not sure what their wait time is. I do know you can send in. Sometimes they have a blem section. If anyone's about to do a project, I'm gonna see if they still have it right now. They used to have a blem section for heads, and it doesn't look like they have it anymore. But basically, like it'd be stuff that they were fine, but there was something that like got scuffed on them or something dumb like that, and you could get a little bit of a deal. I will say this, I also think their Icon series heads are actually pretty good value too. Um Darn it, it's kind of, I mean, I get why they just might not have inventory, or it could have got too hard to maintain. But yeah, they used to have um they've grown so much in the cylinder head department. I don't see it, but they used to have the ability to get some like, you know, or even they would reman OEM heads. I wonder if there was just issues with them, what they were getting in, but um, you're in 211 engine oil temps and 197 coolant. Unload, what are temps that you would? I wouldn't call that concerning. Sure, like if you're going 65 miles per hour on a flat stretch of highway, that's really how you test that. And if your engine temp, what's that, 14 degrees over, that's not bad. It's of the upper threshold for what's considered a healthy functioning oil cooler. And if you wanted to, you could consider trying to do like a good back flush with some air as well. You need air and the water to push the junk out of that, but I think you're fine. But test it on 65 miles an hour down the highway, because casual driving around town sometimes yields weird temps. You need that consistency at 65. Set cruise control and go, and then test it from there. And make sure if you're running bigger tires, your speedo is going to be off at that. Like when it says 65, it's going faster. You want to be going 65, not over. So just be cautious of that, and then see. But it sounds like you're fine. I will say my preference is like no more than 9. I get annoyed over 10. I like a single digit, but I'll say this. I also drove a truck that didn't do single digits for 5 years. And I went to replace the oil cooler because I was just doing another project down there. And I bought a faulty oil cooler accidentally and it burst. immediately. So there's that. I wouldn't worry if it starts getting 16 to 17 degrees, then you need to start looking at when things are going. But every truck's also very different. Tire size can play a big factor in that. Like, we don't think about how much impact that rolling resistance is when your axle, like, if you add 50 pounds, like, say you went from factory wheels, you put a lift, and then put bigger tires, you might add the better part of 30 pounds of tire, like big when you go big wheels and tires, and that's rotating mass right on your axles. So it has to move that, as opposed to putting that same, what's that, 120 total pounds in the bed of your truck. You'll never know it's in the bed of your truck. But when it's rolling resistance, like a lot of guys that are trying to like break records in speed, they spend a lot of money getting lighter parts for their axles because of this idea. Um, Looks like, and yeah, and basically everything. Yeah, I don't. As long as it's highway driving, I don't care so much about the difference. Oh shoot, where's? Oh, sorry, I moved the, I moved the comment section down, and lost my place. Um, you have CTS3. It won't read codes. Been trying to get it figured out with my Edge CTS2. Had no issues reading or clearing. Do you still have the CTS2? And have you tried like hooking that back up to read codes? If the I would call like if other things will read and clear codes, I would call Edge and I'd get warranty on the CTS3. Eric, I don't know any cool forescan things on the 6.0. I do plan to look into them more. Forescan isn't like, it's a crazy good app. I know it, like I have a backup sensor that I mean, uh, they all could be bad for all I know now, but I had one that was failed on my 6 liter. Forescan could tell me exactly which one it was. I thought that was wild. So they can read codes that are in the body control module and a couple, like if there's a module on there, Forescan's capable of reading. It's a ridiculously powerful tool. You can actually in some ways do um more with the forescan than you can IDS. And I still kind of want to buy IDS from Ford, but I'm likely going to get the forescan stuff uh, because I think it'll let me do a little bit more. And especially as you get it, like as my 6.0 crowd, one day you guys will leave the 6 liter, or you'll at least buy another diesel. Like me, I decided to buy another diesel and keep both because I like both. But as you move on to the next one, Forescan can do a lot in the 6.7. It can activate your remote start stuff as long as you got the right key fob and you have the right modules on there. It can allow you to activate, like if you have one set of controls, steering wheel controls, you can, or if you don't have them, you put them in, you can unlock that feature then. It does a ton of stuff. You can switch to the Lariat dash cluster and open that up. So Forescan is a super powerful app, not just for diagnosing, but doing stuff on the newer vehicles. And I'm kind of, I do plan to take a good look at it. I haven't yet, but I'm a little nervous to like open it up on the 6.7. But I do plan to because I need to find out. I just have to start doing some research on what line of code I need to change to activate remote start. But that's a whole other debacle in and of itself. Um, let's see here. Check the garage sale section. Daniel, I don't know what we're checking the garage sale section for, but let me know. What do you think about Cat Red coolant versus Ford Gold? So I'm a fan of Cat Red in my 6 liter. Ford Gold is not a bad coolant. It is a maintenance heavy coolant. Doing the job of coolant, Ford Gold isn't terrible. It requires frequent maintenance, and you should, like, I would say it's a 20,000 to 30,000 mile coolant before you need to do something with it, in my opinion. Whether that be additives, whether that be a drain and fill. Um, they put Ford Gold in my red or in my 6 liter at the shop. I'm gonna run it for at least a year because properly draining is a pain. Um, and then I'll probably look at properly draining and going back to cat. Um, I might just do a couple drain and fills with distilled water, and then turn around and just, get as much of it out, then put fresh Ford Gold in it. I might do that, but I do think it's a maintenance heavy coolant, and you should be maintaining it. Um, what transmission? Red, how are you doing, man? Oh wait, Red here, like you saying Red here. I thought you were saying your name was Red, and my bad. Yeah. What transmission upgrades do you recommend to handle the power increase? Truck Guy Joe, what's up, brother? If you guys don't know, Truck Guy Joe is an awesome dude and has helped me at drag racing tracks. I love that guy. Um, whew, so for my truck, I plan to get over 600 horsepower is the goal. And I think at that point, you should just have a fully built transmission. That's my opinion. So my transmission on my 6 liter is completely done up. It is billet everything. For input shafts, there's 3 different tiers of billet input shafts. I have the middle one. So not the strongest, not the weakest. I'm mid-grade on that. It's got a ton, it's basically got the whole Suncoast part set up. There are no walk center support, which is a must in my opinion if you're doing a rebuild. It's got a upgraded transmission pan to help add rigidity to it as well. But the clutch counts and everything are increased with better clutches that are designed to handle. Essentially, it's a transmission that would be like if you were looking to do 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower in the 5R, this is really the transmission you would rock and roll with. If I was going to be over 800, I would probably go to the highest tier input shaft personally, would be my preference. But for what I have going on, I think I'm pretty happy overall with the mid grade because we're probably only going to do between 6 and 750 on my truck, horsepower wise, when it's all done. Where was I? Robert. What's the Fix Your 6 coolant flush adapter on both? Oh, is that the one that lets you hold on, flush through the oil cooler? Is that correct? I think that's the one. They have been worth every penny. Way to go. Prevent future clogging. Yeah. Because so typically clogged oil coolers on 6 liters are one of two things. Metal within the system, like rust and corrosion, have developed and it's chipping off. Typically, people doing chemical flushes find this out. And then they have big issues. Excuse me. So those are your first things I see. The other thing is crap getting in there. And if you have Ford Gold and you're not maintaining it, that'll be the next thing to clog your oil cooler. There's silicates in it that are suspended in the fluid, and as the truck heats up a lot, they fall out of suspension in the EGR cooler. So you need to be careful of that. Over time, that'll happen. No, they did a buyback. Wait, what's the buyback about? Oh, in the CTS 3, they did a buyback. I see. Eric, yeah, CTS 3 won't even try and read codes the way Forescan will, because Forescan is actually accessing all the modules of your truck. You can do a lot of stuff with Forescan. You need to be careful when you're messing with your trucks in there, because you can do some crap you don't understand. So I'm not saying don't get in, just understand Forescan. Very powerful tool, and you need to be cautious. I plan to mess with it, but it scares me. Let's see here. Yeah, Ninja's right. And the CTS3 should read and clear codes the way CTS2 does, not the way Forescan does, because Forescan is just a much more involved product, even though it's either free, it's free to very inexpensive. Um, One thing, MagTech for the pans, Mag High Tech pan for the trans. Um, the rigidity is the biggest reason I go with the. I think I have a BD Diesel on mine, which is an okay pan. My preference is the Mag High Tech, and maybe one day I'll switch it, but the BD Diesel's fine as well. Um, but yeah, so it's a very long transmission. It's not this. It's longer than this, but hear me out. So there's torsional flexion that happens in this massive thing with all the torque. So what happens is instead of having here's the front, here's the rear, instead of this being in a straight line, it torques. So you have one side going that way and this side coming this way. And that now that's obviously an extreme thing. Our transmissions aren't moving that much, but that overtime torque of it actually causes alignment issues within the transmission itself. So those big, thick cast pans help offset that a lot. And the other upgrades I have inside my transmission, like the no walk center support from Suncoast, kind of prevents that from happening as well. Those are two major things you can do. Now, the no walk center support, the transmission needs to be a part to do. So it's not like a practical upgrade you can just go ahead and do on your truck, but it is invaluable nonetheless if you have your transmission apart. If you don't use the as-built format on Forescan, it's not that bad and really self-explanatory. I'll have to take that, Mr. Sound. So is that like in the laptop version or in the application version? Because I do plan to do a lot with it in the very near future. Hey guys, somebody had quick commented, and I see it now. There's a garage sale section of Kill Devil Diesel, and this is where you can still get Blem Kill Devil Diesel O-ringed heads, $500 off, $1,900. They only have 20 millimeter in stock. So minor cosmetic blemishes don't affect performance. From possible damage in shipping, open box, previous installed heads that have been repaired. Can just sell them. We just can't sell them as no. So that's kind of cool in my book. Used push rods sold individually. There's a 7.3 camshaft. There's 6.0 camshafts. Top end gasket set for a 6.7. Wireless hour meter. Dually bed. A Humvee. Who wants a military Humvee? That's kind of cool. No title, no engine, no top. Going to make a mud truck out of it was a project we didn't have time for. Make an offer. That would be sweet. I'd love to put an engine in that. So yeah, Kill Devil Diesel still does that. You guys should definitely check it out if you're looking. Daniel, thank you for letting us know. AFE does make some. AFE makes a couple of really nice products, not just air intakes, but also some of their pans and rear diff covers are also quite nice. Anyone near El Paso interested in an 8-inch lift for an 0507 never installed? Which reminds me, Josh is actually selling his 6-liter shortly. It'll be kind of weird. He bought that truck right before I bought mine, my 6-liter, and it was kind of funny. I said to him the other day, because he bought a 16 6.7, I said, Josh, you realize we've both purchased 04 6-liters, and then we both have purchased 16 6.7, so that's kind of funny to me. But yeah, his truck will be getting posted for sale soon. I'm actually going to go up tomorrow, finish installing his airbags for him before he sells it. Oh, I see what you're saying. You sent in the CTS2, they discounted the CTS3. How much do they discount that now? When you send in an old product, it used to be like a pretty considerable discount. Mr. Sound. So this is interesting. If you don't use the as built format on Forescan, it's not that bad and really self-explanatory. So is there like a section when I'm going to do the remote start that just it says remote start, or if you could talk about that a little more, it'd be very interesting. I do plan to make a video about it, talking more. Let's see here. Do you really have to drop the transfer case, just change the 4x4 shift solenoid? Oh, I do not have an answer for that. I've never even looked at it. Yeah, I wish I had an answer. I hope somebody does, but I have not ever messed with that, and my truck isn't here for me to look at, so I can't really be helpful there. The turbo time VGT actuator would have helped the kind of dead area before 2000 RPM on a 95% stock truck manual trans. I don't know. In theory, yes. I assume you have a stock turbo. Is that accurate? 93. I gotta think about this one a little bit. It's a little bit of a tougher question. So part of why I'm hesitant to say yes is one, just wait for me to review it. I'm going to be reviewing it very soon. I'm going to review it on tunes that are not actually set up for that solenoid to see if there's any nonsense that happens with it. I've heard some people say they've needed tune revisions. Maya, are you tuned in your truck? Like, are you running any kind of like tow tune or street tune? Oh, no tune. Never mind. I see it. Before you spend the money to put that in, I think a tune is probably your best bet for kind of making the truck a little snappier if you're looking for it. But if you're looking to stay stock fuel and just kind of increase some performance, there's a chance it can help. I'm not sold it will. I need to really spend some time looking into that. And I do. I am going to. I've talked to them numerous times about reviewing it. I don't have a stock turbo on there, and I'm not really planning on putting a stock turbo back in there. But I do plan to test it with tunes that otherwise aren't necessarily set up for it. So we'll see. My fear is if you put it in, you would require a tune to make it work correctly. I could be wrong. The 6-liter wasn't super finicky on how it Fickum tuning would be another good one. Even just running like the eco tuning, that's another big review thing I'm looking at doing soon. So I'm gonna see if I can at least lead people in the right direction on that. I do plan to review it not terribly long after I have the truck back and get some data points on its current setup. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And I will let you know. There will be videos on it, and there will be multiple videos on it. I'm a little scared. People seem to get... I need to refill my ginger ale, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. Can't let you guys see the label because that would be a violation. Um, these guys probably don't like me anyway. So basically, any 93, any recommendation I would have to kind of speed up that under 2,000 RPM. I heard manual trucks can be a little rough in that ballpark. I'll be doing reviews on all of those, between tuning the truck, between oh shoot, the FICM tune, so ECM tuning, FICM tuning, which are two different things, and also the lightning bolt. There will be videos on all of them coming, probably by the end of the year. So stay tuned for those, and I think that'll be very helpful for you. Um, and we'll see. And please, like, as those, please, when I'm putting those videos out, get in those comments. They are like I said, it'll be a little bit. The truck, I would be shocked if I don't have the truck back this coming week with how things are going. So those videos will come after I do reviews of it. And then I think that's weird. Just got it. Oh no, that is me. That's funny. When I signed into Amazon on here, I got a text message saying that I signed into Amazon. That's a really shady text message, though. And I forget what I was going to look up. Why did I get on my phone? There's something I wanted to look up and I can't remember it. But yeah, when those videos are coming out, guys, please, like, get in the chats, get in the comments of those, and really talk to me what you liked about the videos and what you didn't. It's very helpful for me. When you're on the page with body control, man, so I need to download it and actually hook it up to a truck so I can see. They will have a built as in a standard version. Use the standard version. It will be really self-explanatory on off for all different stuff. Dude, thank you. I really appreciate that. I haven't had the chance to mess with it yet, and I'm really looking forward to it because I think it can do some cool stuff, but I haven't been on in a while. Or at all, I mean, for that. I haven't looked into it in a while, and I have never been on it. What diesel truck would I recommend? Is that Vegeta I see? I think I see a Vegeta for the guy. Awesome. Used to nothing. I still love that dumb anime. It's great stuff. If you had little knowledge on diesels, do you want to learn about diesels? Because the answer changes if you're looking for, if you want to know more about diesels versus doing as minimal as possible. Not that you should want to fix stuff just for the sake of fixing it, but I kind of go back and forth on my answer there. If you're saying, hey, I know nothing about this, but I want to work on it, I think the 6-liter is one of the easiest diesels to learn to work on stuff. Not saying it won't fight you, but it's a great truck to learn to start wrenching on stuff. It's responsible for this channel. That's the truck I really first started messing with stuff. I did a little my F-150. I did a couple sound systems before it, but that truck is really what gave the growth to this channel. So I got to finish my little lozenge here because I'm losing my voice. Izzy came to check on me. Right, puppy? So it's manual. You don't race everywhere. Drive 11. Yeah, that's a tough spot to kind of like trying to be driving on the moderate side and then have to deal with that. But I will try to help you with that. Just give me some time. But I do feel I will be able to get you some good information to kind of use. Are you completely against tuning? Dude, if you were closer, I definitely would have your truck on the channel. They can program the FICM to what size injector. The one thing with Fickum tuning I want to talk about, because a lot of people don't realize this. There's 4 different predominant Fickum tunes. There's the Eco, um, Atlas, which is a 40 horsepower. Then I believe there's an 80 horsepower, and then the Hercules 100 horsepower tune. The 100 horsepower tune and like a performance ECM tuning ends up in a pretty hot, smoky truck and not necessarily the best increase in power. Whereas the 40 horsepower tune or an eco tune with an all out performance tune tends to run really well together from all the research I've done. Excuse me. And I'm going to be testing that in the future as well. The goal is to test all 4 Fickum tunes on 3 different style tunes. So between a race tune, a street tune, and a tow tune. That is the plan for my Fickum tuning review process down the road that hopefully is coming soon. You had to have a tune revision with your lightning bolt, but not every vehicle is the same. That's what I'm afraid of. First time diesel, do yourself a favor, go with an 0507 6-liter. Like, I will say this, I don't think it matters what year. I will say where 0507 has a clear advantage really comes in comfort of the suspension and the drive, like how much more maneuverable they are. Reliability of the 6-liter engine, it's just different parts failed different years. So you have 03, early 04, late 04 through 07. Those are basically the 2 different engines you're working with. I do still have Windrunner tunes. Yeah, I know. So I've heard mixed things about. So I still do have access to my Windrunner tunes. I have them. I have to see if I have them labeled properly to make sure I still can run them. But they were my favorite tunes to run. I got the best fuel economy. Like, just a huge, huge fan of how those things were running. Really loved them. They were probably my favorite overall tunes I've ever put on my truck. Blessed Performances in the mix. If I can find a way to get Warren tunes still, I want to review them really bad. Innovative Diesel seems like they've done a lot lately. I plan to probably retest them with the new setup. I haven't messed with them since I had stock injectors. I will say this, I think there's ID Speed Shop now. Yeah. I'll probably only be interested in their street tune. Custom tuning. Oh, they're tuning all sorts of stuff now. Challenger, Mustang GTs. So I probably won't do all of their tunes, as I'll probably just mainly do a couple of them. I'm just looking at their. Yeah, I'll probably really just do a street tune and a race tune for them, because I don't see the point in having all of their tunes, although it looks like they did that themselves. Oh, that's a Fickum tune. They only offer 3 Fickum tunes, a 20, 40, and 60, which isn't like a terrible, which isn't really awful. That's kind of neat. I didn't realize they got into Fickum tuning. For a second, I was like, what do you mean 60 horsepower is your best tune? Oh, they call it the Alpha Sport. Is that one tune? Why is their tuning so weird? That's 160 horsepower. All right, I'm done trying to figure that out. That's annoying. Yeah, so I plan to still do a lot, but Blessed Performance, we've talked in the past. I will be reviewing his tunes as well. Right now, I'm going to leave Truck Source Diesel on there because it's running. Holy crap, is it running good? So I don't plan to mess with that at this point in time. One thing about it, you cut corners, you'll end up paying. Yeah, don't cut corners. I was told by another person who owns a 6.0 to always buy from Sinister Diesel, but you said their turbos are not good. Should I steer clear of them? Don't buy Sinister Diesel anything. Some of you guys down in the comments know how I feel about Sinister Diesel. Don't buy from them. I've seen several of their turbos, and at least at one point, they were definitely ripping people off in their turbos. They were essentially sending stock units or a Power Max turbo and marketing them as something else, painting the cover blue and charging $2,000. Yep, Sinister Diesel, a $2,200 turbo. Let me, in one of the other searches I had, it popped up. And basically what they show you is a Power Max turbo that they machined the cover so that Garrett doesn't show up on there, but they have a Garrett part number where it should be. And you can tell it's a Power Max from the cover. You have to kind of know what they look like, and the compressor wheel. Yeah, $2,200, and it's a freaking Power Max they call Series 1, and there's nothing to it. I can't even, this gets me upset. Don't buy from Sinister. They have a lot of rip-off parts. I'm not saying all their stuff's bad. I'm just saying they do have a lot of rip-off parts, and they've relied on marketing from people that don't know any better. Just stay away from them. So I don't have to get upset. Depending on what you're looking, I will say this, I am partial to some companies as I am working with people. So for overall parts, I'm going to say where I've always bought parts from, try to form a relationship with a local Ford dealer. Extreme Diesel Performance is an excellent place to buy, and a lot of times you can get discounts on there, like 5 or 10% off. DSD Parts is a company I'm working with now. I should have a link to them in the description below. You do have to call them. They're working on a website that's not up and running yet, but they are offering discounts. So let them, dsdparts.com, let them know we sent you. They are offering discounts to subscribers. And if there's any issues, as it is a newer program and I haven't gotten any feedback from people using it, please let me know if there's issues. I will quickly work to get them resolved. If someone's not getting you a discount, I was told that the ordering staff will be told that they're to give a discount to 6.0 Bro subscribers. But Sinister Diesel, absolutely not. I also sometimes buy parts from the diesel shop I go to. Those are my main place I buy parts from. Sinister drives me insane, just to be clear one more time. Probably 40 horsepower Ficum is all I would ever do. It's a Cream Puff 06. I'll have it forever. I'll be paying attention to your future vids. Thank you. Anytime, man. 93. Glad I'm able to help. You have the Turbo Time 64 Velocity. The Velocity port's killer on the Turbo Time turbos. On your 6.0, I love it. I love the Velocity port. It's my favorite thing. It's what caught my eye about Turbo Time. Much in the same way when KC Turbo had the first released the cover with the drilled, I believe it's a surge ring. Don't hold me to that because I'm not sure. I believe it's an anti-surge ring. That thing looked freaking killer. It was so, like, it jumped out at you. It really was an awesome thing they did. I love it. Excuse me. The Velocity port did the same thing for me with Turbo Time. And then I reached out to them, and obviously, as many of you know, we have been working for a long, long time together now. It's been years I've been working with them, actually, which is kind of crazy to me when I stop and really think about it. But they've been such good guys. They've been so patient as I finished school and was really working on that to get where I need to be. So I cannot thank those guys enough for everything they've done. They've been great. Warren Diesel told me no more tunes. I'm going to see if I can't. I don't know that I'll be able to review them really, but I might be able to find a way to get to them. And that's what I'm looking for. If I can't review them, that'll suck. But if I can at least get to them, that would be my preference. Stay away from Sinister. That is solid advice. What turbo am I running now? So the my 6.7 has a factory turbo. My 6.0 has a GXR7 velocity port from Turbo Time. And I'm rocking a 175 stock nozzle injector. So that is that setup. We'll go over the full thing very, very soon, but that is my current turbo. I love it so far. I didn't get to drive it. I was the passenger while Greg took it on its first like real rip after getting the new mass airflow sensor, which a lot of you guys don't realize was the issue. We talked about it. I'm going to release a video hopefully tomorrow or Sunday talking about that. So you're going to get another update on the 6.0, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be basically that we figured that problem out. We're down to our last little issue. There's one other small glow plug issue, but I'm going to take care of that and do a video on it so people realize, like, know what's going on. But yeah, GXR7, not my recommendation for everybody. I will say that I am going to try to set some tunes up that deliberately put it at a little bit of a disadvantage so I can try to see how it would be for people with maybe smaller injectors or not as aggressive of a build as I've gone with. Buddy Dylan has a big yellow 6.0, went through 3 alternators and tubes. Do you think that's a heat problem? That sounds like a ground problem. Well, it could be one of two things in my opinion. It's like I would recommend he do the big 3 upgrade. Get power wires from the alternator to a battery and another and connecting the batteries again. I know they have the factory ones, but put an additional thicker gauge there for all of those. I would then reground each battery and the engine block. At least I would say probably one big ground from each battery negative terminal to the frame, and probably 2 big grounds from the engine block to the frame. That is what I'm going to do on my 6-liter. They have alternator issues and it's annoying. I think if you can do those grounds, is no, it's not a sub. That's for sure. That would be my recommendation. Mr. Sound, do you know where he's getting his alternators from too? I know there's some places that are cheaper. I'm a big, like, I use Nation starter and alternator for mine, and then my dad's truck, which is a 7.3, but it's the same alternator. And we've had a lot of really good luck with them. That would be my recommendation. If he's not looking for anything wild, I'll probably be looking to upgrade my alternator in the future. Granted, it is a decent alternator. We'll see if I actually do that or not. I feel like I will have spent some money. I need to recoup and pay this coming bill off before I buy alternators for now. So while I still think the groundwork, Mr. Sound, is still like the wires I mentioned, going to just a better, I mean, I think you can still find alternators on better quality on Amazon. I'm quick taking a look. DB Electric doesn't fill me with confidence. Sinister Diesel, guys, 320 amp high output for $1,000. That's why I don't like those guys. They're dumb. $100 wiring kit to do the wire mods I just talked about, except it doesn't have as many as I would like. I'm trying to find one that I'd actually recommend. Like, I wouldn't mind a cheap alternator as a backup just to kind of have around. I don't see anything super great on here. Quick pulling up the place I've gotten two alternator, my alternator and my dad's from. Um, but this would be mine for like people looking to do normal stuff. That's weird. It doesn't have the. Did they stop selling it? There we go. Nope. But buying a nice alternator is like a $300 ordeal. That's a starter. That's a starter. $329. So it certainly isn't cheap, but this is. Gonna put a link down here. That's the alternator work. That's not. I don't get anything for that. Like it's not an affiliate, nothing. But that's the Like that's the page. I would trust those. Could be heat killing it. 6 pointers for a lot of heat. Stay away from lifetime alts. You will replace them a lot. Yeah. What should I look for in a diesel to know if it's good running truck when I'm going to look at buying one? I'm going to get you a link to that because I did a video on this in the past. So I'm going to put a link to two different videos I've done, and just set these aside and wait for them. Like copy them, come back, hang out for the live stream, and then watch these both later. But I do think these will be very helpful for you. I Googled 6.0 Bros what to look for, and these are the first two videos. They better be the first two videos. My name's in it. I'd be furious if I wasn't. Sounds like a nightmare. I really think it's just that he's been buying cheaper alternators, and it does suck. But I'll say this: buy a $330 alternator. I had one issue with mine, fixed under warranty, nothing ever again. My dad's is probably about a year old, I think now, no issues at all. So they're a good alternator. I think it's 185, 190 amp. So plenty for what anyone's going to use it for. Even if my preference would still have to be to have a little more overkill, it'll get the job done. Pull off that oil filler cap and check how much blow by it has. Number 2, check signs for the degas rupturing. Oh, you were answering what to look for. I'm sorry, Eric. I'm like, what's he talking about? Yep, listening for the even crank is definitely a really good one. I have a video on that talking about injectors, but people don't like if you do what we did, where you basically jump the starter. So you basically try to crank it, but you don't give it the option to give power to any of the other accessories. The two alternator. Hey, man, thank you. I really appreciate the super chat. That means the world. I'm also going to call you Jeets from Team 4-Star since you have Vegeta up there. I really was a big fan. Am a big fan of Dragon Ball. I love that anime, man. Thank you very much for the support. It means a lot to me to get stuff like that. So thanks, brother. I appreciate it. So the two alternator setups, I'm just not as familiar with them. And I don't believe they necessarily give you a total combined. I think got something on my monitor. If I remember correctly, they share the load. You don't basically have, like, say you had 220 amp alternators, you don't have 240 amps of capacity. Is it amps? I think it's amps. I believe they turn on and off, but don't. That's kind of a whole other setup. I would still upgrade them, personally speaking. That's just me. But I'm just not as familiar. Fickham Repair has some good. Fickham Repair is a great company to work with. Blessed Performance, I'm sure, does too. Minimum of 140 volt. Oh, amps, not volts, not amps. My bad. Oh, they discontinued the one? Oh, so the cheapest they have is 370. Yeah, it's a 200 amp alternator. That's big alternator. Alternator plus ground checking out. Great video from Too Many Toys on Lube Tube. I've heard good things about Mean Green. The least Neville, I think it's pronounced, is one I've actually gone back and looked for more than once. DC Power. So Nation Starter and Alternator, their 190s are the same as DC Power. I know that. Did I finally get caught up with the comments? You're 3 hours from Fickham Repair. I wish he was that close. I'm 6 hours from Pick. That's who did mine. Yeah. Ed, I've over the years, man, I've only heard glowing reviews from him. I will say this, I don't know what alternators and stuff that my sponsor DSD Parts has. You can call them. Like I said, their website's not up and running. Otherwise, I'd have it up and I would be able to tell you what brands he works with. But you can always reach out to them. And again, let them know 60 Bro sent you, or tell your friend to say that I sent him there. And if there's an alternator that gets a discount, they should be able to do it. The Ford alternator is okay, but it's only 110 as opposed to, like, all the alternators we've referenced here are at least 190s. And the 110 just doesn't cut it, in my opinion. Especially if you're running like extra stuff. Like I have a 1,000-watt amp running that can actually go up to 1,500 if I run my subs at a lower ohm. I'm about to put a second amp in that truck. HID headlights, like, it's a lot. The 6 liter is very power hungry with how the fuel injection system works. You definitely want to stay on top of that stuff, and having a cheap alternator is really the last thing you want to do. It's just not a great idea, in my opinion, to be running a cheaper alternator. It's going to kind of beat you up a little bit in the long haul and make you unhappy. Man, so far this is guys, since I've been doing live streams again and really trying to be active back on YouTube, this is by far and wide our most successful live stream again. That makes me very happy. We have a lot more stuff to come too in this department, from live streams getting bigger and how interactive everyone's been. I'm telling you, this makes me so happy. This is what I love doing, live streams, getting to interact with you guys and answering questions. And again, Jeets, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. That means the world. You guys certainly don't have to do that, but it does mean a lot to me for you guys that do. I try my best to answer every single question I can, because without you guys, this channel is nothing. So thank you again. Your Fickham will thank you. Definitely. A lot of people don't realize bad batteries, bad alternator kills your Fickham. Like, that is a big, big thing. and you definitely want to avoid that. So just spend the money now, get a good quality alternator, and save your fickum, really. Fly out, Jared. We'll do a video on the coolant flush and ODOG S2R intake. For battery, this is a good question. I don't know that I've ever actually been asked this question. For batteries, would you get more than the recommended cold cranking amps or CCAs, guys? Um, hey, brother, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sound. I really do. Seriously, that means I think you've helped me more than I've helped you this live stream talking about the Forescan app. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. So would you get more cold cranking amps for the diesel, or does that depend on tunes and what you do to the truck? So no, you do not have to. Well, hold on. Two-parter. No, it is not dependent on your tunes. Can you get a higher cold cranking amp battery? Absolutely. I'm not saying I'd go overboard. Like, I don't know how many amps or how many cold cranking amps that like a big rig needs. Trying to look it up. Like how many cold cranking amps for heavy truck batteries. Here we go. It doesn't tell me. So I see some 1400, 1000 cold cranking amps. I don't know what that would go to per se, but and there's not many options to really go much bigger. Definitely go at least 850 batteries. 850 cold cranking amps, that's what they call for in cold weather. Um, definitely get that. I'm not sure that you really need a whole lot more outside of that if your truck is running correctly. It doesn't hurt. Like if you could find a 900 or a 950, is it Deca? It might be Deca makes a battery that is higher. Deca truck battery. Like I want to say it's like 9 something. I don't think it's so here they have a 950. I hear these are actually like really good batteries. I don't know if this one fits where it's supposed to or not, but that's actually not a bad price. 950 cold cranking amps. Um, group 31 size. I'm not sure what our trucks take. $150. It's a warranty. I'm a big fan of places being local. Like, I want to be able to come drop a battery off and walk out. Here it is at Lowe's. 950 amps, Deca battery, 160. That's not bad considering Ford batteries are about 130 to 140 by me. But I would definitely get an 850. I wouldn't waste my time with 750s personally. Even if you live in warmer climates, there's no benefit to it. You save a couple dollars and that's it. You put $240 Yeah, Wesley, I'd love to do that on my 6-liter at some point. Not that I think I necessarily need it, but I do have a pretty significant sound system that's going to get bigger on that truck. So I feel like it's beneficial to have something, that can really handle what I'm going to throw at it. In Mountain Home, Arkansas. Arkansas. My bad. Odyssey, I've heard Odyssey is a really good brand. I've heard some people not love them, but overall, I think they're. Um, oh, I gotta take a look at that. I just got the hunting invite up to my friends in New York. I meant to text somebody. That's an important one I need to look at. Anyway, so I think Odyssey's good. It was it Red Top that used to be, or is it Odyssey Red Top? Um, Regardless, I've actually always been a pretty big fan of Motorcraft batteries. I don't think they're as good as they used to be like 15 years ago, but they have 3-year full warranty, 5-year prorated for their 850 cold cranking amp batteries. That's pretty good. So that would be my recommendation. It doesn't mean that there aren't other batteries out there. And I think, excuse me, I think any brand you reference, somebody's had a bad experience with them. So some people don't like Interstate. Greg, the truck my shop's at, likes Interstate batteries, sells them. That's what he puts in a truck if it comes in. Not that he doesn't like other batteries, but that's what he sells. And they're a decent battery from what I can tell, but I'm sure there's 10 people that tell you they hate them. They're 160 now. I used to be able to get a nice discount, but I kind of lost my hookup at the local dealership. But they used to always sell them to me for like $120 battery. I loved it. Then you have a core charge, but since I was always in there, they used to waive the core charge because they know I would bring the core back to them. They were always really cool about that stuff with me. But the guys I knew had left, and now one's in auto sales. Not that you guys care, but one's in auto sales, and I forget what the other one went to go do. But good guys. I miss them. They were always awesome to me. That's why I used to go to that Ford dealership back in the day. I will probably still go there once the 6-liter's back. There's just not a lot of 6-7 stuff I want to buy from them. Like, I'm not looking for a ton of factory parts. They don't do the prorate anymore. I'm done with Ford batteries. They at least do the 3-year full warranty because that's at least like quality. I will say this: advanced auto batteries are garbage. I have them, and I had my batteries die on a weekend, and I had to get them for this truck. Complete garbage. One is like completely leaking on my truck. Um, yeah, I can't even talk about it. Gets me upset. But yeah, no, the batteries, if that's the case, I feel like I'd probably be looking for these degas then. If the Ford batteries, as of 2019, Ford quit prorating, Jared. In my defense, I have no defense. The batteries I last bought were like 5 years old, so there's that. That stinks. There's still a good battery, man. I can't even like. I want to knock that they took their that they made the overall warranty less. They still do the 3-year, right, for the 850s Ninja. But I can't help but say I still think they're a pretty good battery. Like, I hate my advanced auto batteries. They haven't let me sit or anything, but I just firmly believe they're not as good high of quality as the Motorcraft. I don't know who makes Motorcraft batteries for Ford, but I think it's a better battery. I think there's better ones out there, but I do think they get expensive. And I feel like every couple of years, like, there'll be a brand that's kind of doing really good with batteries, and then they turn around and then they don't do quite as good for a few more years, and then they're back. Like I said, like, I believe it was Red Top Batteries, whoever was making them. Um, I used to hear, oh, this is the battery to get. This is the best one, and then like all of a sudden, everybody was like, they suck. Man, they are not cheap. If I'm reading this correctly. I hope I'm reading it wrong. 275 for red top? That that's excessive. I can't look at that anymore. Um R149. Man, that's crazy. I mean, I get like everyone had to up prices. It's just it's been a wild couple of years, so I get it. I do think they I had both batteries tested for the 6 liter before I took them back, and they one was fine, the other one was not testing good. I think they still prorated me, so they at least the local guys kept the original warranty I had. Um, I think they were older than 3 years. I mean, I know I paid something, but it wasn't normal cost. I know that. Maybe I was just lucky that they were doing that, doing me a solid because I used to go in there all the time. But I'm standing by. I still recommend the Ford batteries. There's a Ford dealership all over the place, and I still think it's a good baseline quality battery. I'll probably still put them in my 6 liter. Odyssey is 350 a battery. Um, Robert, you did just hear us talking about you did just hear us talking about the budget or the affordable Ford batteries, right? Because 350 a battery. How many, Robert? How many years do you get out of them? What's the BXL series? Oh, that's not their. That's their other stuff. I've never had one of them. I've only had the higher up one, and I've had great luck with them. So I'd still run them. Uh, that's crazy. I mean, maybe not. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. How Robert, how long are you getting out of those batteries? You got to get some time. And guys, by the way, there's 11 people. If you haven't already hit that like button. Get us up to 20 likes for this live stream here. That would be awesome. It'd be a good return to the channel. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. You guys don't know how much hitting the like button and interacting helps the channel as a whole. It really does mean a lot at pushing the channel forward. So thank you guys so much. And this live stream tonight's been awesome. It's been so much fun for us, for me, us. I don't know who else is here with me. But this has been a lot of fun, and it's just great to see the live stream coming back. We used to always have like huge live streams with people when I was doing them all the time, and I want to get back to that. And this was a really great step in that direction. And guys, I just want to say thank you because not only does it mean a lot to me, it was kind of a rough day, and it's nice to come home. I did a 12-hour day, and it's nice to come home and interact with you guys. And even though to an extent this is a job, it's just a really fun job that I do. And I just can't thank you guys enough for that support. So please, seriously, guys, I really mean it. Thank you so much for everything you guys do to support the channel, from buying from vendors and Amazon affiliates to commenting on videos, commenting in this chat. Um, it's so much help. It's so helpful, and I hope you guys get from the channel as much as I'm putting in. If you were grandfathered in, you still had a prorated, but after that, you wouldn't. So my prorated days are over. I'm still probably buying Ford. I'm going to be honest. Still probably buying 850 Ford batteries because I've had pretty good luck with them. Um, let's see here. I've only had it for about a year now. Yeah, Robert, it'll be interesting. I mean, I don't know of another truck that's as hard on batteries as 6 liters are. Between the FICM, just the overall power demand, they are brutal. It would be interesting because I feel like I get about 3.5-ish years out of batteries in my 6 liter, but when it was last together. I want to do the wiring mods I talked about between, running the heavier gauge to some stuff between additional grounds and all that. But it would be interesting to see when this set goes, switching over to one of the more expensive ones and seeing if I get a difference. This is my first time. Wesley, you're welcome, man. When I started this with Josh years ago, I never knew what it would turn into, where it would go. It was a fun kind of pipe dream, and I never really thought it would go this way. We have over 3 million views, I believe, on the channel total, which I know in the scheme of like successful YouTubers, and I don't know that I can call myself a successful YouTuber at this point, but man, dude, it's crazy how, like, in my head, the fact that I have 3 million views on the channel in its lifetime, which is 5 years. Like, it's not like that happened last year alone, but man, just means the world to me. I never thought it would be this, and it's great to pick the torch back up, so to speak, and start getting content out to you guys again, and trying to really get back to this. So yeah, thanks, man. Let's see here. You've got a pair of AC in mind. They're doing okay. The 180 amp DC power. A bunch of us have that. I think that's probably one of the most common ones because it's like actually it's expensive, but it's affordable. I think it's still cheaper. Ninja, what's a Ford alternator cost? Do you know off the top of your head? What, like, the Ford, I believe it's a 110. I don't know if they offered like a heavy. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Oh, and the zero gauge distro ground from the block to the frame driver side. Yeah, I think I'm going to do 2 ground wires from engine block to frame, each battery terminal. I'm going to add an additional ground to. I'm going to go find some of the other grounds on the vehicle itself and make sure they're still in good shape. And if not, I'm going to fix that. And then add the power wire connecting the batteries and then the alternator to a battery with a heavier gauge wire as well. I'm going to try to really hide it too. Been trying to catch the live stream for a while. Thanks for your channel and all you've done to help others in 6 community. Maybe we can have a meet one day. So Robert, I actually love the idea of a meme. I have an end goal of not this year, and it would be cool next year to do a meet somewhere. If the channel ever gets to, so what I would love to do, and I would probably need help with this, is I would love one day for the channel to get big enough that I could do something like what Street Speed 717 would, like, rent a drag strip and do this big event, and basically people would, like, it was so big, people would come and they'd pay to drag race with them. I think it would be really cool to do that and get people from all over the place that have been watching the channel. And I'd like to do multiple of these one day, and just kind of have it as a small event. I used to go to more events. I am planning on doing that. I know with the Turbo sponsor talking about going out to some of the shows, like SEMA. There's a good chance I will be at SEMA this coming year. I hate flying, so that'll suck because I'll probably have to fly out there. I don't think those guys are driving. But I also would like to do, I also realize I have people on the other side of the coast that it's a little harder to get to. So if the channel is ever successful enough that I can really, um, one, financially afford to do it, I would love to have like 4 or 5 meets in the country. And I would tow, the goal would be to take the 6.7 and tow the 6 liter to events, and maybe uh, if there's dyno operators or drag strips and stuff like that. Like, I think it'd be a fun event to do. So maybe one day. I will say, like, I'm just not at a point where it's possible to do it. I do plan to try to catch some shows, whether it be me taking a truck to it, or like next year, I wouldn't be shocked if I made it down to some of like the season openers of some of these events. Was it Beast of the East is one, or Rudy's? I don't know. Does Rudy still throw a massive event at the start of drag racing? Um, I'm trying to see what all pops up, but not a ton's popping up. So it would be cool to get out to more meets, and it would be something I'd let you guys know I was going to do. I don't necessarily have any ins, in the sense of like, I wouldn't be able to just go be like, here's a stand, but like it'd be nice to get to meet people. If Turbo Time is at any of them, you would definitely find me working their booth and hanging out with people, getting to know everybody, because I'm going to show them support. But it would be nice to meet him. Jared at Kill Devil Diesel's been amazing for us. It'd be nice to turn around and meet him as well. And I've never met him in person, even though we've talked numerous times on the phone over the years. So I do have plans to try to be at more diesel events and work on that aspect of things. So we'll see. And again, eventually, when the channel gets to the point that it's successful enough that I can afford to rent places for these things, I will eventually be doing that as well. So stay tuned in that aspect. Sorry, but it is definitely on the agenda of things to do. Time for an ice cream sandwich. I did underestimate, after working all day, how sore my throat would be doing this. Um, but I think it'd be cool. I've had people ask me to do meets before. Ford Nationals isn't terribly far from me. I've thought about putting a truck at Ford Nationals before, so maybe that's something I can look at doing in the future. And I think that'd be really cool as well. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, I do plan to get out to SEMA whenever that is. This year, I should probably actually, I forget when it was. I think SEMA this year already happened, but they just released an article 2 days ago. Regardless, I will be getting more involved in those things, is the goal for the next coming years. I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So East Coast. I do travel up and down it a fair amount, between a trip to South Carolina, going up to New York. So I do plan to do some stuff, and I am always moving around doing nonsense. So um, I'm not sure where I would try that. Like I said, I don't even know how much it would be to rent a place like Cecil Drag Strip. I know it's been done before. I don't know how much it would be, but it would be really cool. I like drag racing. Wesley, where are you from? Uh, and what brought you through Pennsylvania? I'm quick trying to look and see if there's like an official what. There's apparently something happening at SEMA soon, but I don't see where like the big thing is. Um, I'm gonna respectfully ignore the one comment. Not that I don't find it funny, uh, but I just try to kind of. I don't want to. I feel like that touches too close to a potential. I travel all over the place. I'm in New York. What part of New York are you in? I go up to Buffalo area a lot. Um, Robert, I will say if I when I get into that, like I would want to try to do stuff out west um as well. Like if I get in, it would start more locally. Cecil's an hour and a half from me, so that's not terribly far. And then down the road, I would like to kind of expand into. I don't know where I'd want to go out west. You're not going to find me in California. I can say that. But I'm not sure where I'd go out west, but I would definitely like to eventually do like a tour and try to get to a couple different places. I just think I need to be a little more successful at this before I think that's a viable um, option, but I definitely will be. So I'm not familiar with Queens at all, um, other than I know it's not close to Buffalo. So say I was to start again, guys, not happening anytime soon. Um, but like, what kind of things would you want to see if I was doing like if I was trying to do an event? Would you just want to see like, would you like it to be at a place somewhere that was doing racing, dynos? Um, like, what would you be looking for to interact with that? I think that'd be kind of cool. I know there was an impromptu truck show up by a Cabela's by me one day, and like a ton of people showed up. Like, Send It Steve thought it was going to be like 10 people. It ended up being like 50, and people were bringing wild stuff. It was funny. Then we got kicked out. That was when it got sad. We got kicked out. We got the boot. That was actually the last truck show I was at. He should do that again. That was funny when he did it. Uh, so think about that though. Like when I do get to doing events, like if I would like to eventually host some events, um, I would need to find people to help. Yeah, Wesley, that would be cool. Just finding even just hosting an event somewhere where people could just come hang out would be definitely cool. Uh, on a sports bike, it would be less time. Just everybody, when I do one, please drive safe. That's actually one of the funniest things about truck shows and stuff. Hey guys, please leave the property respectfully. Um everybody as they do a burnout down the road. Yeah, one day I feel like a meet and greet is a very reasonable thing one day that we could do. Maybe even something next summer that we could kind of plan. I think this is Josh. Frank, you're welcome. I'm glad you've been able to find a lot of things helpful on the channel. It means a lot to me. You finally installed a CC V filter with catch can. I would like to, on my 6 liter when it's back, do a CCV reroute to a catch can back into the air intake, so it's still relieving pressure, but it's not definitely a troll. That's right, Robert. Definitely but that way it's still able to relieve the pressure, but I don't have to deal with any oil spots and just empty the can every now and then. If you're gonna upgrade your CAC tubes, No Limit is probably my favorite 6 liter. No Limit or SoCal Billet, SoCal. Got to look them up now. SoCal Billet would be the two companies I would go with. I will say this, man, not cheap. They're the company I want to use their twin turbo kit to put a 400 series turbo out in front of my VGT in the Valley. They have some nice stuff. Again, another thing company that's not cheap but such quality parts. And I love their cold side pipe. It's very similar to the No Limit pipe, but it has no break in it and it just uses the boot down below. But I need to stop looking on here because it's probably expensive. $600 pipe kit for both of them from those guys. But man, it's probably one of the best kits out there. Oh, so Frank, you have upgraded pipes, or you want to upgrade your pipes? Okay, you want to upgrade. You heard Josh was jealous because my Super Duty's faster than his Mustang. I want to clarify one thing. I'm not saying my Super Duty's faster than his Mustang. I'm saying my Super Duty is faster than him driving his Mustang in the quarter-mile race at a drag strip. Those are two very different things, in my defense. He's taking that quarter mile 15 seconds at a time, I bet. And I'm really just saying this because I have a sneaking suspicion that DFT, we'll call him, is Josh messing around. I didn't even put him on timeout this time, though. Terry, anytime, man. Thank you for coming and checking out the live stream. Definitely have one soon in a week or so. Definitely going to keep doing these. But thanks, man. Appreciate it. You have a good day at work tomorrow. That's really fast, 6-0 you have. Well, I think it's more my assumption of him trying to boosted launch 6-speed Mustang GT. Definitely faster than my truck, but I think I got him. He's already having 6-0 separation anxiety. He didn't even sell it yet. Well, guys, I think we're gonna close down the live stream. This has been an excellent live stream, guys. Thank you so much, everyone that has shown up and has been a big part. I need to do. But thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out. I appreciate the super chats I got tonight. Thank you, guys. Means the world to me. New video coming tomorrow. Update on the 6.0 Powerstroke. That'll be out tomorrow. And hopefully the following week, I will have the truck. My next video will probably be me. So update on the 6.0. And then the next one will probably be me talking about the SCT tuning on the 6.7 I did that did not go my way. So stay tuned for all those videos. Robert, you have a good one. Ninja, you take care. Everybody, thank you again for all the support you show me. You guys all have a good weekend and stay tuned.